Hello, welcome to Tutors of Life podcast, where we research life so you don't have to. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam.
What's up?
You didn't even say it.
I know.
Okay. This is a tutor episode. We try to teach you something new. Today's going to be a kind of fun one.
We ain't teaching you shit.
No, we're not.
This one's dumb as fuck.
Dude, I'm so excited about it, though.
This is Sam's topic, by the way. However, I do second it a lot.
As in, you think it's a good idea?
No, as in I think it's a fucking, what is it called, a pandemic?
I'd say it's a pandemic.
It seems like, what's the one that's localized and what's the one that's worldwide?
You're the one with the phone now. Do I need to have your phone so I can research?
Probably, but don't close out my Chuck Norris thing.
Oh my goodness, Sean. Okay, let's see. Pandemic versus epidemic.
Yeah.
Pandemic.
One's made up.
Okay. An epidemic is a disease that affects a large number of people within a community, population, or region. A pandemic is an epidemic that's spread over multiple countries or continents.
I would think this is probably more of a pandemic.
Yeah. From what I just saw a meme actually yesterday that was a picture of the health officials for 4 different countries.
They're all fat fucks.
Yep.
All right,
it was
guys.
like,
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, it was like Britain, the U.S. obviously, Canada, and another European country. It's great.
I love it. All right, babe, what do you got? What's the topic today?
We're going to talk about fuckboys versus meatheads.
Mm-hmm.
This topic came up because Sean and I love the gym we go to. And when I first started going 6 years ago? 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a whole bunch of meatheads. It was a whole bunch of big, muscular dudes that were way into themselves that they had no fucking clue I was there. It was great. I loved it.
So
and they were very nice.
They're all, most of them are nice. Some of them are fucking losers, but most of them are nice.
So, like, they didn't, I don't know, they wouldn't take up a whole lot of space. They were very considerate that there was other people at the gym, so they would obviously, like, not use 5 machines at once. I don't know, I loved it. 6 years ago, loved going to the gym. But now recently, it's been different. Sean and I went, I usually go in the mornings or on my lunch, so I usually don't have this issue. But we tried going after work one day at 3:34, and it was horrendous. It was a whole bunch of college-age boys, all doing upper body. All of them have pathetic lower bodies. Mm-hmm. Worse than meatheads.
Oh, big time.
Just little chicken legs. And they all just take up so much space, aren't considerate of other people, using like 5 different things at once. Mm-hmm. And it was just god awful.
Yeah. So let's break it down for the people here. A meathead is usually a big, yoked up dude, most of the time on steroids. Usually lifts in something called a pump cover until he gets a big enough pump where he takes that cover off and the muscles are out for everyone to see. And it's acceptable for them to do that. It's cool. They're not like overly flexing a lot. They're not like videotaping their workouts. They're not taking pictures in the mirrors. You know, they're just fucking getting the lift on and staring at themselves, and I absolutely love it. Mm-hmm. Then there's this fucking pandemic of fuckboys, and I think this came on because of social media. And what it is it's no longer guys or gals just fucking chewing D-ball and crushing weight and looking big and thick as fuck. And now it's these SARM-eating little skinny bitches that take pictures and videos of themselves the whole fucking day. They might weigh 200 pounds. And they're really just like the skinny, like, is what ectomorphs or whatever, like the skinny body types.
Yeah.
That just put like a little mass on their upper body and wear stringers and like flex for fucking 3/4 of their workout in the mirror, taking pictures, or their buddies take pictures and videos of them going, yeah, bro, you look so fucking good. And they start having a fucking bukkake and shit. But anyways, these little fuck boys, they're not men. They're not big. They're not awesome. Nothing. They're just a nuisance. Mm-hmm. and I guess what I'm getting at here is they've overtaken the gym. I honestly don't like. So I've become pretty small as I've like progressed, and I've just switched to TRT. And so I'm only like 200 pounds now, and so I'm not in the meathead club anymore. But what's sad is there's so many less people in the meathead club than there was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. 10 years ago,
mm-hmm.
10 years ago, the gym was just fucking meatheads.
Oh, yeah.
5 years ago, it was still like mostly meatheads, dudes on fucking gear, just beautiful.
Yeah.
And like even then, like there was occasionally like the fit dude who would just hang with the meatheads, and like he wasn't stupid, he wasn't flexing, he wasn't posting all that shit. He was just like, oh yeah, I just don't take as much gear as these guys, or I just like train with them because we're friends, right? Mm-hmm. And that was okay. That was good. But now there's just the meatheads are gone, dude.
Yeah, just
they're gone.
These little boys. I thought we did a podcast episode on steroids, so I was trying to find it and I couldn't find it.
Oh, I don't know if we did.
No. We do talk about like hormones. I don't know what episode number it is. I need to go back and put them on there. But it's from January 17th of 2022.
It'll be in the bio. So I'll put the episode in the description below for where we talk about hormones.
Oh yeah, okay.
But it just so there's these things called SARMs,
mm-hmm.
selective androgen receptor modulators, and what it is it's like an oral, sometimes injectable, but mostly oral, and it stimulates your internal androgen receptors to produce more of whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's good, and it gives you a little boost. And there's actually quite a bit of like background studies on how they can help. Like MK677 has been shown to help with Parkinson's.
Oh yeah. Isn't there some that help with like cancer?
Some of them I believe help with cancer, and some of them at extreme doses cause cancer.
Yeah, not surprised.
But it also depends though, because you got to think about growth. Because it like MK677 is kind of like human growth hormone, but natural.
Mm-hmm.
So that can actually, like, if you have strains of if you have a cancer, that could target it to grow more. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, more cancer cells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless if you have a certain frequency that explodes the cancer cells, and then.
That's some fucking shit, dude. Honestly, guys, my Instagram. I quit following so many like fucking lifting things on Instagram, and so many like fitness chicks and stuff, and my Instagram's been clearing up, and all I've been following is like only a handful of political channels,
yeah,
nutrition channels.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
and fucking like educational,
okay.
Personal development,
yeah.
Business, that kind. So my feed is like this just fucking conglomerate of like doing better,
mm-hmm.
and now I get some suggested shit that starts going down a rabbit hole that might be fucking real. Mm. We don't know, dude. Like nothing. Like we said in our last podcast, I don't know if anything's real anymore. I don't know if I can believe anything anymore. What I do know is it's pretty fucking sketchy. Like what sketches me out is how many conspiracy theories there are, right? And then how many of those conspiracy theories end up just being conspiracies, which are real.
Yeah.
Conspiracies are real.
Yeah.
And so, just like the COVID-19 conspiracy theory that turned out to be a conspiracy, which turned out to be real.
Yep.
It's like, dude, how many of these conspiracy theories are actually real?
Right.
Which is what kind of, but that's getting down a different topic.
That's for our next talk episode.
Yeah. But so what it is with these SARMs is they naturally produce more, okay? Mm-hmm. And so it still inhibits your like natural testosterone production, but not as much. Then we have something called steroids, and these are what I like to call the nectar of the gods.
Yeah.
The fountain of youth.
Yes.
These things are what real men should be taking. And I say that with 100% joking, because if you're not serious and you're not into lifting forever and you don't want to stick a needle in your body every single week for the rest of your life, do not get on steroids, because that is the dumbest shit to do.
Would you recommend it like once you turn 40?
I recommend testosterone replacement therapy. I don't necessarily recommend steroids.
Okay.
I actually recommend SARMs for aging individuals.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, so these little fuck boys, mm-hmm. or so like steroids. So when real men use steroids and get all fucking jacked up, wreck their natural testosterone production and all that shit, get really big and fucking yoked and take all kinds of stuff, fuck up their livers, mess up their enzymes and all that shit, that's cool. They get like fucking big and sick. And there's actually ways, like if you look at Stan Efferding and you follow Stan Efferding's methods on all of his blood work, on his diet, his sleep, and all that shit, and his 10-minute walks to spike insulin sensitivity and all that shit, right? The top level bodybuilders, powerlifters, strongmen, copious amounts of steroids, like stupid amounts, and have better fucking blood work, blood pressure, etc. than the average person. Mm-hmm. But you really, really have to be like serious about how you're taking your health and how everything is. And like what I love about that is you can safely take a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
And be big as fuck. Like just look at Stan Efferding, how beautiful he looks at 54.
Yeah.
So anyways, with all of that shit, right? Now these young kids are like opting out of steroids and going for SARMs. And they're not training like men used to train. They're not training with fucking barbells in the dungeon, getting big and yoked and shit. Now they're fucking doing some light curls, doing like this aesthetic shit.
Having a bukkake around the weight bench.
Having bukkakes around the weight bench, standing in front of the mirrors. Dude, they're not even fucking training.
No.
Most of them are just standing in front of the mirrors, flexing.
And fucking just sitting there on their phones.
Yeah, the whole fucking editing videos and shit.
Yeah.
Like, dude, fuck all that. And that's what, like, this is what, like, really irritates me. Is when these meatheads back in the day were lifting, they weren't on their phones. Mm-mm. They were just fucking crushing workouts, headphones in, just slamming shit.
Yeah.
And it was like real testosterone. Well, a lot of synthetic testosterone, but a lot of testosterone.
Real men. Let's go with real men.
A lot of real men. And I guess the thing that's really fucking bothering me is it's not the atmosphere. These dudes ain't fucking slamming weight, getting big, and doing this shit. They're fucking on their phones and just taking selfies of them flexing in the mirrors, and they're not even that big.
Yeah. Dude, the weird thing is like, all the meatheads, like, you knew who all of them were, right? Like, you'd sit and chat with them for a little bit. Not, like, too long where, like, it fucks up your workout. But you'd
Except Spencer.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch. You'd always chat with him for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Love him.
But these kids don't talk. Like,
no.
None of them talk to each other. The one kid was afraid to ask me to let him in the door because he went to the bathroom and forgot to bring his key. He wouldn't ask me. Shaun just, like, walked by.
Hey, bro.
Yeah, he's like, hey, do you need to be let in? Oh, yeah, thanks, man. He was going to call his friend.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I'm standing right here. I obviously just came from the gym. Fucking just ask me.
Right.
But
yeah.
They're little pussies. They may have muscles, but they're just little bitches.
I mean, they got a little bit of muscle. Don't give them too much
That's
credit,
true.
babe. Don't give them too much credit.
And their goddamn chicken legs.
I know.
I just can't stand it.
I know.
I know, like, there are, like, some meatheads that have, like, chicken legs compared to their upper bodies, but, like, their fucking one leg is bigger than both these kids' legs. Like, their legs were still big, just not comparatively.
Right. Well, I don't know. The meatheads that had the really small legs, I didn't consider them meatheads. They were just bitches. You know?
Like Nate?
No, because you got to think.
Like, Nate had really big legs.
Yeah.
But compared it to his body,
Like, there's just, if you look at Stan Efforting's legs are tiny compared to his upper body, but he can squat 100 pounds.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, I don't consider any of the, I'm talking about the guys who didn't train legs at all and had, like, no muscular definition, no, like, size in legs, like, that were legitimate chicken legs.
Yeah.
But, no, like, I mean, no, I don't. Those guys are all, it's just like comparison. They all train legs. Mm-hmm. Their upper body was so much bigger and developed, and like that's a lot of genetic stuff.
Yeah.
Some guys don't grow big legs.
Shaun.
Me?
Well, your calves.
Oh, sure, but yeah, whatever. I don't know. There's like there's a lot of guys that are like massive who've got like small calves naturally, you know, and there's like nothing they can do.
Yeah.
But it's just that's more like body. That has a lot to do with genetics. You can grow that shit, but it has a lot to do with genetics.
Yeah.
Like Larry Wheels has small calves, but his quads and hamstrings are fucking massive, and he deadlifts fucking, I think he's deadlifting 900 pounds, squatted 1,000.
What do calves help you with?
Jumping.
Oh, okay.
But even then, like...
I mean, you can have muscular calves, but they're just small, right? Like, it doesn't...
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, if you look at some people who can jump fucking 3 feet and they don't have fucking... like, their calves are just small. Mm-hmm. No.
Anyway, sorry. That was a side thing.
Yeah. It's like, I don't consider... like, just because it was disproportionate to the rest of their body, they still train legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys still have big legs. They just... You put those legs on a fuckboy, they'd look massive.
Yeah. I love how you thought this was a dumb topic, and you are obviously very passionate about it.
Dude.
You went off.
Well, honestly, over the last, like, 3 years, because I've been off of, like, steroid use for, like, 4 years, which is sad. I dream about it. Life was better then. But, you know... apparently we develop as humans and shit or whatever.
Yeah, you age and grow.
I don't stupid. But honestly, like over the last 2 years, it's getting really, really difficult for me not to have my own gym, like my own home gym. I used to love going to the gym, and I fucking cannot stand it anymore. And it's because of like the atmosphere in the gym for me for 10 years was like my happy place. I loved it. That was my shit, dude. Mm-hmm. And now, over the last couple years, it's the atmosphere's gotten so shitty, and there's so many fucking losers. I can't stand it, and just being in there pisses me off. Yeah. And it doesn't like piss me off to train harder. It pisses me off so much I'm disgusted and want to get the fuck out of there. Yeah. And I know it's like, you know, as times change, things change. I can't get over how much the gym situation has changed in the last like 3 years. Yeah, it's been bad. Fucking horrible, dude. I've never when I trained powerlifting, and you go to a good powerlifting gym, like all that shit, beautiful, great atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And then weightlifting, and even like at the CrossFit space, dude, like, you know, I would just be in my weightlifting world, and it was good. It was like that was the atmosphere. It was good. And then back into powerlifting and bodybuilding, it was fucking awesome. It was the best. That 3D 6 years ago was the best atmosphere I've ever been around ever.
I loved it.
It was. I seriously. We would go to the gym 5+ days a week for fucking 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was 2 hours at a time. I just love that shit, dude. Nothing turned me on more than that. And now it's just gotten to a point where I'm like going to the gym for fucking a 45-minute workout, and I can't fucking stand it. Can't even stand it. And I know that's just not our gym. And it's not just the gym we go to. It's like gyms. That's how
it's all gyms.
It's most gyms. There's still some powerlifting gyms. There's just some power gyms. There's still weightlifting gyms and shit and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, because remember we went to the Chippo 3D and Scott like even came down because he was like, I could hear someone throwing weight around or something. Like he was just so shocked that someone was, because Shaun, what were you guys doing? Shoulder press?
Fucking power clean to press because fucking Tristan asked me if I could, and I was like, yeah. Yeah,
but it was just so weird for him to like hear that because no one fucking does it anymore.
He's like, I heard some weight slamming, and I checked the camera, and I wasn't surprised when I saw you. I was like, thanks. But I don't know. It's just changed. Dude, back in fucking 2020, what is that, 2016, 2017, you could not go in that gym and not hear weight slamming the whole workout.
Well, now all you hear is people deadlifting, but it's like pathetic.
I don't. The new age power lifters just drinking their fucking milk and sucking each other's dicks and stuff. It's just,
and at the gym for 4 goddamn hours to
it's
do nothing.
It's so different. They aren't training, dude. Like it just goes back to the same shit. They're soft. They're weak. They're not actually training. They're just there. They're just existing.
Yeah.
When back in the day, dude, people trained. They trained. And this can actually tie in to, like, let's tie this shit in. In today's age, the more you see, men are getting weaker and weaker and weaker.
Yes.
Men are getting weaker. Testosterone levels are going down. Soy's at an all-time high. People eat more processed foods than they eat whole foods.
Yes.
Which I don't remember if we went into on the show or not, and how much that affects your gut health and bacteria in your gut, and how that fucks up like your digestion and giving your neural pathways and shit to notify your brain, giving you dopamine hits that like you're full, and you don't get that because the bacteria in your gut get killed by all the super processed foods. Those certain chemicals in the processed food kills that bacteria, so that whole like pathway and everything gets shut off. So that's why people gain so much weight, and so anyways, and that's why you don't feel full, and that's why the obesity pandemic's up so high. Obesity is like 270% higher than it was in 1970.
Yep. Here, can I read this?
Yeah, go for it.
Is it this one? Oh yeah, once you understand that ancient civilizations such as the Greeks did not allow their slaves to train physically out of fear of them growing strong and revolting against their masters, then the attack on body image and masculinity suddenly makes a lot more sense. So they literally want you to be fat and tubby because you have no drive, you have no motivation, you have no, like, not aggression, but you know what I mean, like passion, like...
Yeah.
All the people that really care for the country and where it's going, and like not care about people's feelings and shit like that, like really care about like how the country is doing.
Yep.
We're failing right now at it. All those people that actually care are like more fit people. Not like great, amazing shape, but they're physically active. Like they have the blue collar jobs. Like they do physical things to keep their testosterone. Plus, it's probably actually more men that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. So I'm sure a lot of them, like, they grew up with all that actual testosterone.
Dude, that's why I've talked to multiple men in their 50s and 40s who started getting blood work done, and their fucking labs were better than mine naturally at 50 years old than mine was at 22. And granted, I had done some steroids at that time, but not a crazy amount. I went through all the protocols to get my natural levels up. You know, I did all that shit. I did all the post cycle therapies. I did all that. I did it under doctor supervision, all that shit. And all these guys still have higher test in their late 40s, their 50s than I did at 22.
And you can even look at Kyle too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Kyle's highest was at 400.
Yeah, it was like 4 something.
And that was a couple years ago at like 28.
Right. And
yeah. That's not good.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It should be at 900.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, we're definitely in a pandemic of hormones, and it's so weird because so many women are like so into like birth control's fucking over women's hormones. Birth control's the reason that like women are crazy, women can't get pregnant. Like so many women are so passionate about like how birth control has fucked over women's hormones for so long. And it's just like, okay, now let's take this knowledge and realize that like it's happening to men too.
Well, it's happening to men too, and it's not just birth control.
Right, because a lot of women do, I've seen a lot more posts recently about women cutting out soy in their diets because they realize that like it's fucking up their hormones. It's like, yes, if it's fucking up yours, it's also fucking up men's.
But at a way higher rate.
Yeah, because it's a...
The
produces estrogen, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just very weird that like people aren't connecting the dots right now.
Yeah, dude, and you just so like the best way I can explain it is like look at the cinema and like movies and bulletins and ads and all that stuff in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Dude, the people, it was like the Arnold Schwarzeneggers, the Sylvester Stallones, the Chuck Norrises, just jacked fucking fit ass dudes. Mm-hmm. That was like the idols then, you know? And now people are up in awe that fucking Miles Teller had a 6-pack that was like barely a 6-pack.
Yeah.
And he talked about how, man, that was the hardest working out I ever did in my life. I'd never do another roll like that because I had to work out so hard. Bro, are you a bitch? That's nothing. You didn't even look impressive. Fucking Tom Cruise looked better than you, and he's 60-something.
Yeah.
Like, dude, what?
Yeah.
It's just the level of pussification of men blows me away.
Can we put that in the Shaun Tutor dictionary?
Fuck yeah, dude. Put that fucking, whatever that quote was, just do that quote and then post it on my socials next week.
Okay, done deal. What time are we at? 28, 26.
There we go. I just, that dude, it's just, it fucks me up, dude. I miss men. I want men to come back. And we need to, the thing is, it's like, we've all fucked up our bodies so much from so many years of like processed foods and that shit that we need to like switch gears and be a lot healthier. I'm not saying I don't cut out all processed foods. I still eat shit here and there, but I follow like the 80-20 rule. I know I could get better. I know I could get that down, but I eat like 80% whole foods clean, 20% like I'll do processed or like fast food or whatever.
Yeah.
And I know I could get that better. But if we all like strive to get better in that realm and started doing testosterone, why men do challenging things? Testosterone is a hormone. It releases pleasure when you're doing something difficult. Mm-hmm. Okay, so men, why they love sports and fighting and challenges is because men actually get like some sort of dopamine hit, some sort of like enjoyment out of the shit, out of stress, out of struggle. And that's testosterone. And so like that's why all-time men are like men because they just fucking go through the struggle and they enjoy it. That's why like kids in their teens, you usually see teens a lot more like into sports and doing things and training hard and like loving the shit and joining the military and all that because they get enjoyment, they get pleasure
Yeah.
out of struggle. And then obviously as you age, that goes down and down and down, right?
But if you keep active, you can keep it higher.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. And what I think happened, or what I think is happening, is since testosterone's down, we have and in processed foods and all that shit, we have so many weak little bitches that are fucking high school age who don't want to join the military, don't want to fucking train hard, don't want to kick ass and do this shit.
Don't even want to work.
Don't want to work. They don't want the fucking challenge because they're not getting the same release, the same joy from the challenge because they lack the testosterone that makes them want the challenge.
And also, like, a huge issue right now, guys, is like you see all these men fucking doing shootings and just there's a lot of aggression right now, but that is because when you mix testosterone with high estrogen, which is what men are getting with all these soy foods,
right?
That's what causes these emotional anger outbursts. Having just high testosterone does not cause you to be angry. It's when you add the high estrogen in with it, because estrogen is much more emotional than testosterone is.
That's where you get the roid rage and all that shit. That's people not regulating their hormones, getting blood work, all that shit.
And then, like we've discussed it before, I'm sure that's why there are so many men out there transitioning to women because they feel like they're a woman because their estrogen is so goddamn high.
Absolutely. But I mean, if you think about it, like testosterone and estrogen, they're not bad. Testosterone in excess isn't like necessarily a bad thing. It's estrogen in excess, and that's why, for the audience, that's why women are so crazy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because you got fucking.
We have extra
estrogen, dude. That's like they literally, dude.
But that's got to be why women are so much crazier right now, is because their estrogen is even higher than it's supposed to be.
Oh, you look at the fat, stupid fucking liberals with the septum piercings and shit.
Yeah.
Why they're so crazy out there is their estrogen is fucking peaked. And they're just running around of balls of emotion, fucking. And the thing is, like, they can't think logically. And that's not, like, I'm not kidding. Like, it's a thing that women should not make decisions when they during the week of their period.
Yeah.
Women should not make decisions during their period week. They should. There's a 2 week out of their 28-day cycle when women should make decisions and when they should be outgoing and do things.
Yeah.
And there's a week of like reflection, and then there's like their period week where like you're just supposed to bleed. And so like there's this like 4-week cycle for women, and there's a reason, dude. There's a reason why women don't make decisions, because their fucking estrogen, their hormones are so high, they're so fucked up that they can't logically think.
Yeah.
And then there's a week of reflection where women like get to target this inner thing that men really don't have.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 weeks where women can be performing really high and like making decisions and all these things. But it's fucking hormonal based, dude. And people don't want to look into that shit. And they're going to get mad at me for saying this shit. But like research it, dude. There's books on it and shit. And not to be like, not to get too fucking sexist with it. But that's why women in leadership roles, I believe, was so regulated back in the day, was because when there's a week where women shouldn't be making decisions, and putting them in a leadership role where they don't necessarily know that could be bad.
Yeah.
And nowadays, if women actually track their cycles and they know that, and they're leaders and they embrace it, it's not a bad thing, because you get a week of reflection, you get 2 weeks of super good leadership and decision making, and then you have a week where you don't. And as a leader, that's totally okay. But you just got to be aware of that shit.
Yeah, and you just got to time everything correctly.
Exactly.
And there's like there's supposed to be, there is certain diets women are supposed to follow like throughout their cycle too.
100% there is. You're supposed to eat more calories when you're bleeding.
Yeah.
Because you're burning more.
Yeah, more calories and carbs.
Yep, and less strenuous exercise, like lifting weights and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be more like yoga and stuff like that. No, there's a lot of science behind all of that.
But I'm a fucking bigot sexist right here.
Yeah, so, oh well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish, like, the stuff like this that I wish our podcast was more popular to, like, get to more people, because this is a huge issue right now. This is why there's all these wokeness shit happen out there, because they all have such high goddamn estrogen that they can't think logically. They're only using emotions. That is why, like, they don't realize, like, we fucking need to treat this country like a goddamn business. Because that's the only way to run a country effectively. Right now, we got all these liberals who fucking own all of these processed food companies because they want everyone to be fat. They want everyone to be lazy, because it's going to be so much easier to control them when they decide to make this some goddamn communist country.
Right.
Because if we don't have all these real men, then it's going to be so much easier to just take over.
Right.
Anyways.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I get pretty passionate, pretty heated about this topic. I love this one.
I love how it really did tie in with it.
Yeah, it did, and I knew it would end up
going
making
this way?
sense. Yeah. But yeah, I guess lastly, Sam and I both have, like, first-hand proof of all this shit. Because I have, like, definitely experimented a lot. I've tried a lot of different, like, hormone like affecting drugs. A bunch of them. I've tried all sorts of them. I've had all sorts of emotions. I've seen what happens with high estrogen. I've seen what happens with no estrogen. I've seen what happens with high test, no test, good level test. I've seen it. I've tried it all. And I've seen, like, different hormones, like tapping out my thyroid and shit, and tapping my adrenal glands and all that shit. And you really get to see, like, through reflection of, like, how your body's affected, the importance of like your real genealogy and trying to be as close to that in hormonal balance as you should for your biological, like, sex, your male or female, not all your mental disorders out there. Do you see they just fucking you showed me yesterday.
Yes,
John
I was
Hopkins.
gonna say, I'm the one that showed
was that
you.
John Hopkins?
Yeah, it was the chief psychiatrist at John Hopkins hospital just declared that transgenderism is a mental disorder.
I've been saying that, dude. I've been saying it for years.
But it's because fucking people have too high of estrogen. Their bodies don't know how to handle it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why, like, yes.
And hormones affect, like, your mental state, yeah.
Like, I totally get it. Like, there probably is people that, like, might have this. But it's slim. It is not as many as there are out there.
Those people, it's truly a mental disorder. It truly is.
Or, like, it's a birth defect. You know what I mean? A mutation. So, which can technically, be a mental disorder. Did you just see, too, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, one of their kids,
I saw that.
A long time ago wanted to go by John, I think.
Yeah.
Dressed like a boy, and now she's back to her normal gender.
Yeah.
If that kid...
That used to be you.
Dude, I know. If that kid would have been now, like, in this day and age now, like, they would have fucking... I don't know if they would have, but there would have been people that would have had them go through a transition, and then down the road they'd be like, "Why the fuck did you do this to me?"
Right.
Did I ever tell you about the story of the twins? There was twin boys. Twin boys, and one of them, they botched the circumcision.
Sure.
So they just decided, okay, well, we'll just make him a girl. Because it was a baby. So, because otherwise, I think they botched it so bad that he just wouldn't have had anything. So they changed the boy to a girl as a baby. The parents raised the twins as a boy and a girl separately. And down the road, the kid was like, or I think it was like when he was a teenager, she was like, I just don't feel like I'm a girl, like something seems wrong. And so they told the twin what happened and that she was born a boy. And I think a couple years later she ended up killing herself.
Oh, I'm not surprised, dude. Not surprised at all. Dude, that's why circumcision is not a good thing.
No, yeah.
Like, dude, you should circumcise your kids.
Yeah, I think there's like a big thing now where people aren't doing it anymore.
Yeah, because, like...
But that just goes to show, right? Like, she was born a boy, and she fucking knew it.
Yeah.
And, like, you can't do anything at that point. What are you going to try and do? Like, because with that situation, you can't... I'm sure they didn't have a clit that could grow into a penis.
Right. No, I'm sure not. Well, you don't have female organs. The fuck?
Right.
What's your point? What's the point of you? But yeah, okay, before we get too deep into another rabbit hole. But yeah, no, I agree with you. A lot of that shit is like genetic, biological, mental disorder, etc. And that's I believe that's the same case with people that are attracted to the same sex. That's not by choice.
Oh, like it's genetic?
It's a mental disorder, yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like...
Well, I wouldn't say it's a mental disorder, but it is like a mutation. But that one I think is more natural...
Oh, for sure.
...than transgenderism.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that is something that has actually, like, been proven to be around for a while.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's obviously genetic.
100%, dude, because...
How else would I have 2 gay siblings and then there's me?
Right, well, and not only that, dude.
We had different dads, by the way.
Not only that, like, we are put on this earth to reproduce. Biologically, we like the other sex to reproduce. Mm-hmm. That's why when men have the right hormones, they want to fuck everything in existence to reproduce.
Yes.
And that's why women want to nurture the children they have. And but when you're born and you don't want to do that, there's clearly something different with you biologically.
Yeah, genetically.
Yeah. So anyhow, guys, that's what I got for you today. Share the show. I hope you liked it. If you are one of these fuckboys, what I can recommend for you is go back and watch Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Go back and watch videos. Oh, watch the Louis Simmons West Side Barbell documentary. You start researching fucking testosterone, D-ball.
We forgot to mention, because you talked about your first-hand experience. We've talked about too about how like birth control fucked me up. I think that's a previous episode that we have talked about. I can put it in the comments.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Sorry to interrupt you.
But like, dude, really, like, it's about go get blood work. Go get blood work to see if you're fucked up and compromised. But dude, it's about the challenge. It's not about posting. Quit fucking posting your shit. Everyone's posting their shit. You're not cool. Like,
if you haven't noticed, Shaun and I do not post anything from the gym.
Yeah, the only shit I post on the gym on my Instagram was years ago when I was going for like PRs. That's it, dude. That was like my log for PRs.
Or every once in a while when you can be like, still got the snatch down.
I know, it's so fucking
once a year.
Stupid. But like that right there, guy, like take a look at yourself. It's about it's about the challenge. It's about the struggle of building a physique, a body, getting stronger, going through fucking adversity, going to the gym and training when you don't want to train. This is a huge one. Eating fucking meal after meal after meal when you don't want to eat, dude. Mm-hmm. This is something that irritates the fuck out of me. Watch Rich Piana talk about it. It's not about fucking if you want to eat. It's not about what you want to eat. It's that you eat. And to fucking bulk, you eat until you want to puke, then you eat some fucking more, and then repeat it 6 times a day, you little fucking bitch. And it's that easy. And you just keep fucking doing it. And people struggle so much with that because it's a struggle. It's an adversity thing.
Eating is for nutrition, not for pleasure.
Dude, you fucking... And so... That's something, dude, that people are like, oh, I don't want to eat or I don't want to do all this. And it's like, dude, I don't want to eat all the fucking time. But if I quit eating, I'm going to be fucking 180 pounds. I'm going to be sucking other dudes' dicks and it ain't going to work out for me. And so I eat 3,000 plus calories every day because I don't want to look like a fucking bitch.
A fuckboy?
A fuckboy. And so anyways, fuckboys, that is how you can be a man. And if you go get your blood work and you're fucked up, consider getting on steroids and being a real man.
Also, don't eat shit. Like, right? We just talked about it. Don't eat
Whole
processed
foods,
foods.
Dude. Eat whole foods.
Don't eat soy.
Smackdown, dude. If you want to be fucking bigger, you got to eat whatever your ideal body weight is. You got to eat that ideal body weight in grams of protein every single day at a minimum. Add calories on top of that in the form of carbs, fats, but make sure it's whole foods, not processed foods, because that wrecks your gut bacteria, and then you're not digesting properly anyways. Then you get into carb timing, all that shit. That's down the road. Just start out by stop being a fuckboy. And I hope you enjoyed it. Share the show if you like this one. Check us out on YouTube.
Got the vids up?
You got the vids. Like the vids. Subscribe to us because we have dog shit for subscribers.
We got 7.
Fucking subscribe to that shit. Like that shit. Share that shit. Leave reviews. Comments if you like this. And thank you for tuning in.
See ya.